Alright, well, on the bench, I know you can't tell just by this, but I got a Uniden PC122XL on the bench here. And originally this was just going to be a nice simple service, clean up the switches, give it an alignment, and call it a day. Excuse me. But originally it started off that way. No recap, nothing like that. But when I turned the radio on, I noticed that the volume potentiometer was, the volume pot was very scratchy. So I started looking inside, and I noticed that there was just no way to get at it from the backside, because you have the circuit board. So I had to take the front off. Now, I've never taken one of these apart before. This is the first one. In fact, this is the first PC122XL I've ever worked on. So this was kind of new to me. But the circuit board, not only is it held in with 3 screws, but the volume control, you can see the terminals there, the 3 legs, pokes through that slot right there. So you have to unsolder that tab there, that tab, that tab. And then there was some hot glue holding these 2 power wires in. So you have to take that off, unsolder those 2 wires. And then you have to take the nut off on the channel selector, and then take the locking nut off on the microphone jack. And then with the 2 screws, and then 2 screws on the other side, you can take this off. The channel selector clicks in on those locking tabs. There's one there, and then there's one on the other side. So you have to be pretty gentle when you try to pry those back to pop the channel selector and the display out of that, because those break pretty easy. So after doing that, you see that the volume pot is still attached to the front faceplate, and in my opinion this is pretty poor engineering, because you know, they do go bad. I've replaced plenty of switches over the course of working on radios, and in order to remove that switch and replace it, you have to pry off and almost ruin this front face here, because the nut is hidden behind that hole. So yeah, not really the best way to do things. But fortunately, this volume control is working. The on and off part of it is working. It's just dirty, so a little deoxit on the inside of that switch there, and we'll be good to go. But if you ever have to replace that switch, though, man, it's pretty crappy. Your chances are you're gonna end up ruining or dimpling that front faceplate. So, but anyway, yeah, now I can get at everything. Even these here, you can see that there's, well, they are sealed. If you spray a little bit in there, it will eventually make its way in there, as well as through the shaft. You know, it's definitely going to help. If you're pretty careful, you can actually take your soldering iron, I'm sorry, and with one of the smaller tips, you can actually burn a hole on the top of each one of those switches, spray some deoxit in there, and then reseal it with like some sort of like a silicone or something like that, you know. But yeah, so and like I had said before, this originally wasn't going to get recapped, but after looking at some of the values on the caps, I noticed that there is quite a few 10-volt caps here. You can see there's one right there. I think there's a couple more in the audio section there, but there's also I think there's at least 1 or 2 6.3 volt caps. So it's just good practice to get those changed out to at least 16, but preferably 25 volt caps, just to be on the safer side. You know, just in case, you know, especially in a mobile setup, You know, you might have, you know, an instance where, you know, you might get a little bit over voltage, you know, at the connector. And while, you know, chances are nothing will happen, it's just good practice to have at least, at the very minimum, 16 volt caps everywhere, but preferably 25 volts plus caps. And yeah, so that's really about it for this. So I also contacted the customer, and I'm like, hey, you know, I'm kind of this far along. Do you want to keep or change out the channel display and the LED indicator? So he had opted for changing it out to a blue, so I'll be changing the channel display and the little TX light, which goes right there. I'll be changing that out to blue as well. Give it a little bit different look than the rest of them. So yeah, that's where I'm at right now. And then also, if you are going to be recapping this, you have to take the front off anyway, because, I mean, I guess you could always leave that cap in there, but there is one cap right there that should be changed out. So either way, whether you're servicing the switches or recapping or both, you know, you're going to have to take that front off. So anyway, let me get on with this. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to tackle cleaning these switches first, the whole front. I'm going to get the LED changed out. I'm going to get the channel display changed out, and then in that cap. And then I'm going to put the front back on so this thing isn't, you know, kind of just flopping around. And then I'll proceed doing the recap, and then from there doing the alignment. So, all right, guys, stand by. All right, so the radio's back together. I got the front of it on. You can't tell, but there's a blue channel display in there. There's a blue LED in the transmit light area. It is aligned and recapped. So here's all the caps here. These are all pretty much standard value caps, but here you're going to find these are the 10 volt caps. So you have a couple of 100 microfarad 10 volts, 220 microfarad 10 volt. There's a 6.3 volt. And I think this one here is a 16 volt, which, you know, it's not as bad, but when I do any recapping on any radio, I like to at least use the 25 volt caps. I guess 16's all right. I mean, you shouldn't be putting 16 volts to these radios anyway, but it is awfully close to the 14 or 15. So just it's good practice just to use 25 volt caps and larger rating. So and that's what's in here. They're all 25 volt and above, 25 to 50 volt rated caps. So that's basically it for this radio. I wouldn't say it's difficult to, this isn't one of the more difficult radios to recap, but there are quite a few of them, and the traces, you know, are a little bit thinner than some of the older radios. So a little bit of caution when recapping this particular radio, or even the anything with this chassis in it, the Pro A10E as well. So yeah, it's the same board. But anyway, let me get this cleaned up, get the cover back on it, and we can do our usual tests that we do. And yeah, call this thing a day. So, all right, stand by. All right, well, the radio's all back together, and we can see the channel display. It always looks purple. I don't know why, but it's actually a true blue. It's a blue. But yeah, for some reason it looks purple on the on this camera here. But it's a good-looking radio. There's some very minimum scratches on it, so it's I wouldn't say it's mint, but it's pretty close. And yeah, so that's really it for this radio. So I have a S9 signal going to it, and on this case, it would be a 4 on this meter. So yeah, you got a 70, minus 70 dBm signal going to it. And also the TX light is also blue. So yeah, we got ourselves a good looking radio here. So let's see what it's doing for sensitivity. It's minus 100, minus 110. Let me turn this up. I'll call it there. Minus 110, 11, 12. Minus 112 dBm. So we have ourselves a really good listening radio here. Alright, there we go, back up. But yeah, so that's that. Now we can check out transmit. I'll get this hooked up to the watt meter and the dummy load and the scope, and yeah, we'll take it from there. Alright, stand by. Alright, it's hooked up to the watt meter. This is AM, so I got like a 4.5. Split the difference like I normally do between the watt and the MFJ meter. Alright. Audio. Alrighty. Yeah. Got a tone. Alright. Perfect. Perfect. Alright, let's do lower sideband. Alright. That's a perfect waveform. Yeah, this radio's gonna sound good on the other end, I can tell you that. So yeah, what else? Let's put this on. Actually, I can put it up here. Alright, 19. Oops, sorry. Put this back to AM. Alright, it's on frequency as well, channel 19. Alright. Yeah, so this radio's good to go. So now the only thing left to do is to do the monitor radio test, and then we'll put her on air, and hopefully we can get some skip and possibly a radio check from somebody out there. Alright, stand by. Alright, we're on channel 23. Seems to be the clearest channel. It's not perfect, but I'm thinking I can talk over these the people here. So let's try this out. Testing 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Testing out this audio on this PC122XL. And I am talking to you on a Turner JM+3 microphone. Looks like a bar of soap. Sounding really good, I think. Sounding nice and clear. Yeah, we got ourselves a good talking radio right here. Testing. Audio. 1, 2, 3, 4, 4, 3, 2, 1. Alright, let's move on from this test, and we'll put the radio on the antenna and see if we can get a radio check. Alright, stand by. Alright, it's hooked up to the antenna. Let's got a bunch of skip coming in. Let's start with lower sideband here on the 30s.
we do. You got too many of them. Start to play those potato bars there. Got me 3 Texas Star modulators, Tom. I just ran across. Oh, have mercy. You don't need all that shit. It's just collecting dust, man.
Says you.
Back in the day, when he bought me the Sweet 16 8-pole Texas Star, and I didn't know that shit. Oh, hell, man, Sweet 16, I like your whole life, man. You can do it, you can give it to a good buddy. You know, come on now. Your dad would approve of that. I'll let the old lady take care of that when I'm dead and got any better. I got a 0208 and about 33 of them. Skyways. Like everybody's getting excited out there today.
Yeah. All right, let's go to AM.
Everybody got a copy. Come on. Other job. I would say there's probably 10 Mexicans there, and they never came back to work. I think there's only 2 $300 a piece of. Well, I don't even know what little box is on. No, the fans ain't never have to stick on it. I got it, I got that little twister doing about 14.6 off of it. And that little twister don't never choke down or nothing. Lights, a little amp on there showing you how many amperes you put on that, don't never drop or nothing. Yeah. Sandman, black rooster back in my corner. They walk under these trees in the bayou. I'll see ya. Good day to you, 243 Baltimore, Maryland, my hometown. 1409 Houston, Texas, said it.
320 Boston, Mass. Waving a hand. 320 Boston, Mass. Anybody got a copy on me? 320 Boston, Mass. Yeah, it's too busy.
Down. Plus, 3 horses. They're back to 3 horses out. Now 170. Coming hurt. I got.
Alright guys, I think I'm going to end it there. Well, there you have it. Another radio completed and put back into service. Alright guys, thanks for watching.